Hi, my name is Al Green. Not that one, but the struggling guy who was in the music industry for years trying to sell talent and songs to agents. The agents befriended me and taught me techniques that I want to pass on to you through my program, which is called You Can Talk, You Can Sell. Anyone who has ever taken this program has excelled in selling and either risen to the top of their company, their team, or the top of their field. It's called You Can Talk, You Can Sell, and you can get it right here. In these times of inflation, you have to make more money. When you're driving around, because you can't take the bus when you're in outside sales, and you can't deal with filling up your tank unless you're paying $70, $80. And if you have an electric car, good for you, but you're still paying for that. Everything's costing money, and because of the crisis that the country is in, everything costs more. Your best bet is to vote yourself a raise by selling better and earning a higher commission, better commissions on a commission-only basis is the greatest, but not everybody can do that because the job doesn't always require it. But in your case, if you learn from the masters, you eventually yourself become a master. It takes time, but you work at it and you work at it and you chip away at it a little bit, but it's time to make more money. And that means more sales. So in the course, we talk about the average person who earns a 5-figure income can push that to a 6-figure income, and in some cases, a high 6. So what are you going to do today to change the way that you work? The first thing that I'd recommend is that you go by making that commitment, recommit yourself, if you have to do it every day, but recommit yourself to make sure that you are on top of your business because you are running a business of your own within the business that you work. It just so happens that the company you represent is the commodity that you sell. And when you sell a service or a product, you're in your own business. Even though you have a boss, you manage your own time, you can manage where you want to go, and you can make every day to be a different day. You can drive the routes that you want to and take the shortcuts that you want to, but you're pretty much your own boss, even though you answer to the company because you're representing their product. But when you're doing that, you have to ask yourself, how do I deal with inflation? Salespeople should always be able to deal with it, because as prices get away from us and prices go on to be higher and higher, that means we got to make more money. And only in sales can you decide that you can earn more money because you work a little bit differently. You sell a little bit more. You sell just a couple extra here and there. It's one of the greatest things to do. But how do you do it today? How do you make more money today? Because you always have to be in that pipeline of waiting for your commission check. Best thing you can do is engage all of the principles that have been taught in these trainings and go to work at them. How do you pick up more sales? You pick up more clients, you pick up more of your hours, you make yourself more available, and you tell your customers to call you on a Saturday. What difference does it make to you? Yeah, if you're at a ball game, it's very easy to pick up the phone and say, I'm kind of tied up right now, can I call you back? It's all been done, and people are usually understanding. Ask them if you can call them on a Sunday. It's a different time of the year, and you have the advantage to working it out yourself. If you live in an area where it gets extremely hot, hopefully you have air conditioning. And hopefully when you go out and work, the people are going to be understanding if you come in a little bit sweaty. It does happen. On the other hand, if you work in extreme cold, usually they're very understanding. It was raining in Seattle yesterday because it rains in Seattle a lot. And it's easy to work in the rain because people, they will take pity on you. They'll say, what are you doing out working in the rain? Well, because nobody works in the rain. And you're this person, the salesperson who does, that's an advantage for you. You walk in with an umbrella, you shake it out before you walk in the door, and you're carrying this umbrella. Believe it or not, that adds a lot to your image because of the fact that people are seeing you as a person who is really committed to your job. And when they see that you're committed to your job and that you're doing everything that you can to learn how to present the product that you know so well, and you have the confidence, then they realize you are taking this very seriously. You can joke around a little bit. If you can build that rapport and you can get on a level of being humorous and walking in knowing that you're going to be a little bit entertaining, that's great, but you let them know that you're very serious. I've done it myself. When it rains, that's a great time to work. I get out there, and sometimes I get a little bit soaked, my jacket's wet, or my shoes are wet, whatever. And people say, oh, are you out working in the rain? You bet I'm working in the rain. Because when people see your level of commitment, and that your level of commitment is high, they have more of a tendency to believe that you are not fooling around, you're not there to waste their time. That means that your product is a little bit more important than your competition, who might not be working on a rainy day, because a lot of them don't. And you won't run into them. You don't have to worry about as much of it because they're going to be on the phone. They're not going to be in person. And you always have the advantage when you are in person. Take that advantage and work it to your particular craft and make sure that people take you seriously. After years of experience, you pick up these little tidbits and you pick up more that you learn from the masters. You'll get it through books, and you get it through training, and you get it through working with the people who are actually doing these little techniques. Techniques that they bring to the table because it worked for them and they're the guys making the money. And if you're on a sales team, you want to be at the top of the team. You want to be right there at the top. A lot of people like to hide in the middle. They like to not be noticed. They want to do just enough to where they don't get called out for not producing. That is not you. You're here, you're paying attention to this because of the fact that you want to be at the top. And being at the top means that you're outperforming yourself. Don't worry about the other guys. Just work on outperforming yourself. And you'll do it by being committed to your job, by taking in every bit of information in the form of a lesson that you can apply so that it'll work for you and you can come home with the job satisfaction of being successful, and your paycheck will show it. When you work on commission, you usually get a better paycheck. A lot of guys, on the other hand, will take a job where they get paid a salary. And if you're working in a salary position with no commission at all, just remember you're valuable as a person, as an employee, and you can go to any company you want to. And if you show a true desire to work for that company, they will listen to you. Because believe it or not, salespeople are the hardest people to find because a lot of people won't sell. People that are completely capable and have a need and they still won't do it. What the reason is they don't think it is what it is. They don't realize that sales is nothing more than talking for a living. It's really nothing more than that. And yet, they talk a good game. I get people calling me up all the time saying, does your company hire? And when I tell them, yeah, what do you do? And they say, well, they're either a mechanic, a technical person, or they're willing to work in the office. But what happens when I tell them, we have lots of openings in sales? I hear them say, I won't do sales. It's like, how come? Don't you need money? Oh yeah, I got a wife and kids. Okay, well, you talk a good game. All you got to do is talk. You can learn the training. You can learn the craft of sales. As I said earlier, nobody graduates from business college with a degree as best salesman of the year. You can't really, unless you do it, know what it's like to achieve and be a top salesperson. You can't read that out of a book. You have to actually do it. The whole purpose of the books is so that you learn how to do it. When you get into doing it, it's a lot easier than you think, and it's not exactly the sales job you might think it is. A lot of people think it's a lot of coercing and fast talking. It's not. A lot of people don't have the confidence to do a job where it requires confidence. But if you know your product, you know your industry, then when you talk, you speak with confidence. Nobody can throw you a curve. So reestablish that commitment and go out there and knock it out. You'll appreciate the extra money.